Okay, so nobody at these two tables picked their nose, okay? All right, we got you. Okay, so this is the key. This is the only place this is not. I think the last table does not have one, but you can go to the next table beside you to look at it. You do have one?
This table.
Okay, so if you guys need to look at one, just jump to another table.
They can just
All right,
stay here.
so look up there. We can do that in a minute.
Yeah,
Look up there. Look up there. All right, so this shows what the different pieces of glass do when they're fused. This right here that looks a little bit like a flower, that's these, and they are mellifluories. All right, and they're actually originated in Italy. And they expand into like a flower type shape that looks really interesting. This one right here, it's all the extra glass that we won't use, all the little scraps that you think you can't use. Mrs. Rice puts them all together, fuses them all together, and then you trim them, right? You put them into one big rod and then trim them, and they're called Marinis. So you can use those, and then they spin out into different colors. One way you can do this project is you can choose several Marinis and then use your colors from different places that way. These are, this is a stringer, okay, and you can see that there's a stringer fused on your key. This is a noodle, okay, they're a little thinner, or a little fatter and a little bit thinner this direction. Don't touch it yet, let me teach you how to touch it first. And then this is a noodle that's been, Mrs. Rice has taken a torch to and kind of bent, okay? So all of the pieces that are here, when you pick them up, the noodles and the stringers, to break them and get them the shape you want, look up there. All you do is you take them like this, and you just break like that. But you don't want to touch the end too much because that's where the sharp glass is, okay? Don't break them just to break them. Break them with a purpose, because we had a kid one time just breaking them like crazy, and it is really expensive. It is glass. The last thing I wanted to show you before we start is there's pieces of glass that are shiny. Some are clear and shiny, and then some are black-backed and shiny. They're called dichroic. Don't move it around yet. They're called dichroic. They actually used to use these on the space shuttle windows to protect the astronauts' eyes. I learned that yesterday. Okay? You can turn them different directions to get a different effect, and on the key it shows you. If it's a shinier side up, you might see one like this. If this side is less shiny, it might look more like a puddle. Now wait, listen for a minute. You can also put these, so this is a clear dichroic. Here what I did is I put a colored piece of glass, just a regular colored piece of glass, and then put a clear dichroic on top of it so it looked like a big puddle of color. Okay, so you can stack it too. But the higher you stack it, the more it's going to melt out. So you got to think about that. So the best way to start this is you've got a plate. My suggestion is to pull several different kinds of colors of glass and patterns of glass that you like, and just put some on your plate first. Okay? So let's do that for the first couple of minutes, and then we'll go from there. I'll show you how to do the rest of it. Okay? Start pulling some colors. Remember, you don't want to... oh, last thing. Look here. When you leave, you have to have your glass separated like that, so don't mix it all up. Okay, otherwise you have a lot more work to do at the end. Okay, now what you need to do, find two pieces of glass that are not transparent. Transparent meaning saying like you can see through it. We want something that's opaque so you cannot see through it. And what I'm showing on the screen right now is what you need to do. So you're going to get your hook and your flat glass piece that's clear, and get your glue ready. And you need two pieces of glass that are not transparent. We want two opaque pieces of glass. Now I chose dichroic, but you don't have to. I did not choose clear dichroic. So look up there for a minute. We want to be able to hang this piece, correct? You can choose. Now I need everybody to sit down and lock in for just 1 minute, and then I'll leave you alone. Promise. Okay, stop moving glass for a minute. Look up there. This is Miss Anderson's, and hers is horizontal. Stop moving glass, please. Hers is horizontal, and this one is vertical. So you choose the orientation. And I love Sarah's, but one of the choices she made is to put some clear glass on top, and she might see her hook. You see what I'm saying? So I might pull her in to put a colored piece of glass on top of that to trap it in. So what's going to happen is this is going to fuse, and when it does fuse, it will stay in there. All right, so when we do this, we just are balancing it. To glue glass on, just put a little bit of glue. We're going to set this here, and we set our two pieces on top. Now, look, they're not going to stay very well. You just want them to stay for a little while. Because gravity is going to help us some. We just want to kind of get it in the right spot, and once that dries, you'll be all right. Okay, so see, I'm even having a little bit of trouble getting them exactly there. Just balance it. Do you get it? And it'll pretty much stay. You can put 3 pieces if you need to, but it should be, I don't want to say it has to be, but it should be opaque, because otherwise you're going to see through it to that hook and it might look a little funny. Okay? So choose right now which orientation you want. Do you want horizontal? This is vertical. Do you want horizontal or vertical? Here's 2 choices. Okay? And then you need to start putting dots on and gluing things on. Okay? We need to make this start happening. So get the hook on and then start gluing things on. Here's your key, guys. Say that again. Oh yeah, if you can find a big enough piece to trap it in, you're okay. Now the other thing is the little scraps of paper. Look, Miss Anderson wrote her name and 5A. You guys are 5R. So you want to write your first name, last initial, and 5R on that little piece of paper before you bring your finished piece to me at the end. Okay? All right, now I'll leave you alone.